believes in the power and potential of women, women will today. My grandmother was the greatest CEO I have ever seen in action. She managed a family of 14 in a 12 by 16 home with such love and care that when I look at myself today, I realize that I am made of many great women for which I am grateful and immensely humbled. We are here to do one of my favorite things, to tell stories. We are here to not just talk about women, but to women. Everyone, please welcome our storytellers on stage. I think clapping should be not that of a 5-star hotel, this thing. It should be a little like... The stories you will hear today are from Prakashi, Shalini, Lakshmi and Manvi, and they are icons in their own right. They are using their potential to create their own solutions while addressing education, economic empowerment, community, the things that we all care about. For our first story, I want you to imagine this with me. The year is 1936. Prakashi is growing up in a little village called Johri in UP. Prakashi always was a meaty churi. Her education was self-taught, though her dreams and desires were determined by society. She was married at 19, now a mother of 8 and a grandmother of 17. We all need someone to connect the dots for greater things to happen, and Prakashi's granddaughter Ruby was her smoking gun. When Prakashi pulled the trigger for the first time at a rifle range, it was fueled by a pure instinct. And just like that, at the age of 60, Revolver Dadi was born. Without further ado, let's welcome Revolver Dadi.
रेंज में पहुंची तो पोती कहने लगी मैं अकेली नहीं जाऊं, मगर मैं साथ चलूंगी। मैं साथ जा लगी तो लड़कों के एडमिशन थे वहाँ, तो लड़के कहने के दादी आप भी करो, आपकी भी कैटेगरी है। मगर बिल्कुल करूँगी। तो मुझे भी जितना टाइम मिला था, घेर का काम, बाहर का काम, सब ये धार निकालनी, घास करना, सब कुछ कर गए। जितना टाइम मिला था उतना जग में पानी ले गए और प्रैक्टिस करती थी। तो हाथ ऐसा नहीं होना ये जाम हो जाएगा। तो जितना टाइम मिला था, दिन में भी नहीं मिला, शाम को मिला। शाम को ही प्रैक्टिस करी, जग में पानी ले गए। ऐसा करते करते एक साल, अगली साल मेरा मैच गया दिल्ली। तो DIG को बुलाया मेरी कैटेगरी में, भगत सिंह DIG। तो वो बहुत पुराना शूटर था, मैं 1 साल की खेल ली थी 32 बोर में। तो उसे हरा के मैंने गोल्ड मेडल ले लिया। इसका सेकंड का होगा तो बोला फिर मेडल की नौबत आई, मेडल होगा तो धीरज सिंह एक फोटो करवा ले, मेडल मिल जाएगा। कहने लगा मेडल कैसे कर लूँ या फोटो कैसे करवाऊँ, मेरी औरत के सामने बेइज्जती करा दी। कहने लगा औरत ने कहाँ बेइज्जती करा दी, स्कोर में करा दी। तो उन्हें बेचारे ने करवाना तो पड़ा सा फोटो, मेडल मिल गए। फिर कुछ थोड़ा माहौल बदला गाँव का। पिस्टल तो मेरे पास आज भी नहीं है, तो मेरा देख के फिर ये मेडल और ये प्रैक्टिस करती का फिर लड़कियों के एडमिशन होने लगे। देखो दादी है रेंज में, कोई डर नहीं मुझे। तो मेरे यहाँ होगी 25-30 लड़की, सब लड़कियाँ कहने लगी कि दादी इस उम्र में कर सके, हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते। उन्होंने भी बहुत मेहनत करी। आज मेरे पास हो गए 25-30 मेडल, 30 मेडल मेरे पास है आज। तो इतना गर्व हुआ, इतना गांव का माहौल बदला। उनमें मेरे 30 लड़की इंटरनेशनल की मेरी भी लड़की है सीमा तोमर, जिनने वर्ल्ड कप में मेडल ले रखा। तो खुशी इस बात की है मजाज, तो मेरे तो प्रेरणा मिलकर बच्चे इंटरनेशनल हो गए, तो गांव का माहौल बदल गया, इतना माहौल चेंज हो गया। मैंने लगन हिम्मत इतनी करी, मैं उम्र भी पीछे हटाई। तो मुझे गर्व इस बात का है कि आज मैं इन लोगों के बीच में हूँ, ये हिम्मत के साथ हूँ। गुड।
दादी आज ना रिवॉल्वर लाए हो आप? हाँ?
बेटे इन्होंने बोला ही नहीं किसी ने, अब लेकर आना तो मैं लेकर आती, मुझे बोलते।
अच्छा, इधर देखो दादी, इधर तो देखो,
उनको देखो, उनको देखो।
ठीक है।
Instinct pulls the trigger, but it's ideas that load the gun. These are the trigger-happy stories we need. Shalini had been everything a successful woman dreams of becoming, an economics major from one of India's most illustrious institutions. By the age 30, Shalini had worked across a dozen plus nations in Asia, Africa, and North America. She even found the perfect husband and moved back to India in what was the perfect success story. She was doing brilliantly at work and she found herself preparing for motherhood too. Life was perfect. But was it really? Please welcome Shalini.
Perfect it was, or so it seemed at that time, till I broke the good news to my employer. And it was at that time, suddenly, my new role, the promotion that I was promised, and everything that I had worked hard for was suddenly off the table. I had to choose. It was either career or motherhood. And motherhood it was. And for 5 years, I took a break from work. And by the grace of God, after 5 years, I now have 2 beautiful children. And it was a wonderful time that I spent with my children during that break and loved every bit of it. But I think there was that itch, there was that passion and purpose to go back to. And I found myself looking for the road that led me here. But it wasn't available. It wasn't an easy path. It was full of compromises. Compromises which you have to make either for your role or the rewards that you want for the work that you've done so far. It wasn't easy. And it was then that I decided that if I need to go back, if I want to go back, it'll have to be at my terms. It'll have to be at terms of when I want to go and how I want to do and what I want to do. And that became my sole purpose. And it was very fortunate at that time, a woman friend of mine introduced me to what I do now in the field of women empowerment. And it was, my passion meeting the purpose that I was looking for. And today I live every single day working to empower the women from the underprivileged section to take decisions, every single decision in their life, based on their ability and not based on their circumstances. Thank you.
Women are leaders everywhere, look, from MNCs and small businesses to the housewife who raises her children. When we empower women with purpose, we will continue to break down walls and defy stereotypes. And when women support other women, incredible things happen. Like in Shalini's story, what she's doing will seed so many stories in the future. Our next storyteller is Lakshmi Rani. Hailing from a Chotu village in Bengal, her Baba noticed how she enjoyed studying and learning new things. So he got her admitted in the local school. She had 100% attendance even though her school was a walk that took her an hour and a half one way. Such was her will to learn. Despite being the only girl in her village to clear her secondary studies, financial trouble forced Lakshmi's father to take her out of school. She was left devastated to an extent that she cried every day for 2 years because her one purpose in life was cruelly taken away from her. And if the light at the end of tunnel couldn't get any dimmer, Lakshmi was married off at the tender age of 18. For a truly inspiring tale of overcoming hardships, please put your hands together for Lakshmi Rani.
हाँ जी, मैं 18 साल की थी जब मेरा शादी हुआ। मुझे पता नहीं था मेरे हस्बैंड किस टाइप का होंगे, मुझे समझेंगे कि नहीं समझेंगे, लेकिन वो हमें समझे। शादी के बाद वो हमको बोले, तुमको क्या इच्छा है, क्या तुम करना चाहती हो? तो हम बोले हमको पढ़ाई करना है, हम पढ़ाई मेरा छूट गया। तो बोले ठीक है। तो हमको बहुत दूर था कॉलेज, फिर भी भर्ती करवाएं, खुद गए, साथ में गए, फिर हमको लाएं। ऐसे ही चल रहा था पढ़ाई। फिर मैं प्रेग्नेंट हो गई, मेरा बच्चा उसी दौरान हो गया। अच्छा, फिर भी पढ़ाई में कर रही थी। पढ़ाई करते जब लास्ट एग्ज़ाम मेरा जब था, उस टाइम मेरा बच्चा का एन्सेफ्लाइटिस हो गया 1.5 साल की उम्र में। तो मैं 1 महीना में एडमिट थी, मेरा बच्चा एडमिट था। तो मेरा पढ़ाई छूट गया। तो मैम घर में फिर वही रहना। उसके बाद हमको इंटरनेट के बारे में पता चला। इंटरनेट जब मैंने सीखा, अरे मेरा पढ़ाई जो छूट गया था, ये तो मुझे ब्रह्मास्त्र मिल गया। अब इससे मैं पढ़ सकती हूँ, सब कुछ कर सकती हूँ, सब कुछ मैं जान सकती हूँ। इससे बहुत मुझे अच्छा लगा। उसका बाद हम इंटरनेट सीख रहे थे, अच्छा चल रहा था। अचानक मेरा हस्बैंड का एक्सीडेंट हो गया। तो जिस टाइम उनका प्राइमरी टीचर का रिजल्ट आया, अच्छे नंबर से उन्होंने पास की, इंटरव्यू अब देना था, और एक्सीडेंट हो गया। मेरे पति तो हमको बोलने लगे, मेरे हौसला हारने लगा, मैं तो कुछ कर नहीं सकता, मेरा तो इंटरव्यू है, मेरा प्लास्टर है, पढ़ाई किताब नहीं ला सकते, कुछ कर नहीं सकते, मेरा पढ़ाई तो छूट गया। हम बोले आपको चिंता नहीं करना है, मैं जीके डाउनलोड करवा देती हूँ, ऑनलाइन सब पढ़ाई कर लीजिए आप। तो अच्छा से 1 महीना उनका प्लास्टर था, और 1 महीना में उन्हें पढ़ाई भी बहुत अच्छे से कर ली। इंटरव्यू बहुत अच्छा गया है, उनका रिजल्ट आने वाला है इसी महीना। फिर वो मेरा हस्बैंड अभी हमको बोलते हैं, तुम्हारा कर्ज ज़िंदगी में मैं कभी नहीं चुका सकते, जो तुम मेरे लिए बहुत कुछ की हो। और गांव में जब मैं पढ़ने जाती थी तो अदर महिलाओं पुरुष सब कोई बोलते थे, तुम्हारा बहू को तुम कलेक्टर बनवाना है, टीचर बनवाना है, तुमको इसको कॉलेज भेज रही हो। मेरे सास मेरे हस्बैंड हमको बहुत सपोर्ट किए, जो तुमको दूसरा का कोई बात नहीं सुनना है। हम लोग घर में तो कुछ नहीं बोल रहे ना। तो फिर अच्छा से चलने लगा। ज़िंदगी में मैंने कुछ सीखा है, तो यही सीखा है, जो हौसला रहे तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। थैंक यू।
If the uncertainty of life teaches us anything, it's humility and purpose. Lakshmi's will to learn, to find solutions began with herself, but that wasn't enough. She saw that her purpose in life is not to be happy with oneself. It's to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to make a difference to your community. When girls receive even a chutki of support, they can achieve great things. Manvi is our final storyteller. She's from UP, all of 17, and unlike most of the girls in her village, she's not married. Manvi is still in school, and that stems from the support and belief that her father instilled in her. In a village where girls are a burden, Manvi is a beacon of hope and a brighter future. But it's not easy. Our youngest storyteller for this session, let's give a warm round of applause to Manvi.
Yes, it was difficult.
Wow.
Not just for me, but also for my father, to support education of my 3 siblings and I. Moreover, I come from a society where education for girls is a rare thing, so we faced a lot of criticisms. But seeing my father not being bothered about it inspired me, and I knew that I had to put all of my efforts and be the best I could in studies. My hard work paid me. I got selected in Vidyayan Leadership Academy, where I'm currently studying in 12th grade. Coming to Vidyayan was another transformation. I did not know any English till 5th grade, and then 6th grade, education was all in English. But the kind of support that I received from my teachers and the efforts that I put in helped me pick up that really soon. Also, my parents' words, and they always tell me that education is the only way to come out of the poverty that we have been trapped in. So that keeps me going on and aiming for higher things. After my 10th grade, I got another opportunity to go on a year-long exchange program to US. There, I stayed with a host family, and I saw empowered women. I saw them going out, taking decisions, and doing what they want to do. That not only surprised me, but also made me really happy that I could see like what I have always longed for. So when I came back, I had already decided that yes, I have to do something about the situation in my society. I have to bring that positive change here also. And now, being recognized at such events, I really feel that I will bring that change. Thank you so much.
Manvi, you are the real future of our country.
We're sitting here?
Okay. Why don't you come in?
Musical chairs.
Thank you all so much. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay, great. Thank you all so much for joining us. And as we look at how to make opportunities and create opportunities and to make sure that whatever gender disparity there is can be dealt with, I think it's also important to try and understand where it comes from. Because actually, if you think about it, there's a really fascinating book that is making waves. I'd urge everyone who hasn't read it to read it, called Sapiens, The History of the Human Race, or the history of humanity. And one of the interesting things that comes out is how through most of human history, there has been gender disparity and gender discrimination, although it's not really clear why that should be the case in the first place. So where do you think the problem is coming from? And maybe I can ask each of you where the problem originates from, because once we've understood the problem, we'll be able to find a solution. Why don't I start with you? Why? Where does it come from to your mind?
Oh, well, context most of the time. I think we have to be clear about the world that we're born into and what that expects of you. And so in different parts of the world, in different villages, it's culture, it's religion, it's the status quo. And I think that so from the very beginning that you come into being, I, one of the eldest of 5 daughters, that's where it all started, was that, my father was not considered lucky to have not had a boy and just 5 girls. And so we were constantly trying to prove ourselves. More importantly, we're constantly trying to impress him. And it was never really much about my mother. And yet, my father was never alive to see the achievements I have, but my mother was, and that's what's kept me going and the steel in my spine. So I think it is really about what you're born into and the possibilities and opportunity. And so it begins from the very beginning, education, education, education.
Education's the way to make the change and to try and to the people who are in control, and as a result of that hasn't changed and somehow spread all across the
It is
planet.
a mystery. I mean, how did we even come to this point where half the population has just, sort of taken the shorter end of the stick? I think men have provided, like from the Stone Age, they were supposed to be the provider. Today we exchange in money. But we have never valued nurturing, for instance. We have not valued taking care of family, of people. These are things on the side. These are not the main things. Whether you talk of a country, you talk of a relationship, you talk of an individual, we've always given the material provisions, the economic development a greater value, and we have not given that same value to, sort of the social issues. And I think what Chetna said was very right, that we all want young girls to be educated, because education is not only about going to school and having a degree. It gives you, instills you with confidence, it exposes you, it makes you interact with other worldviews, it's all of that. But at the same time, if you see female feticide is most among the educated. Dowry deaths is most among the affluent and educated. So what kind of education are we really imparting? I mean, so I think it's a very complex issue. The point is that we cannot keep saying because there's a historical wrong, it will perpetuate. The hastening of this, the change that is required is just so slow. I mean, today in the 21st century with everything happening, the gap is still so enormous. Still there is so much of misogyny. Still we are so part of a patriarchal society. Till, so it's definitely so deep rooted that we're still struggling with it.
But there's something else that is happening right now, and I hate to sound in any way gloomy, but there was a particular view that people had till maybe a couple of years back, that as globalization happens and technology comes and everyone gets communicated, certain messages will spread globally. So gender equality, this is the norm, and this is the way with the process of history, gender equality will come into effect, avoiding discrimination will come into effect, not making fun of people with disabilities and giving them an equal opportunity. This will happen. We'll all become a slightly better society. But if you look at recent trends, and not least certain election results that we've been seeing in the recent past, is that necessarily the case? I mean, is the process of history leading towards parity, or is it still an open-ended question?
I think we're constantly taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. So it is strangely simultaneously existing. It is true that with more exposure, with the fact that in a village also people are seeing, I mean, if Gina Davis Institute, which is on media studies, they have shown that the more women you see in films or television, you kind of, or especially women leaders, you start voting for women leaders, you start believing that this can happen. So the power of the image is strong, the power of information is strong, but it exists also in patriarchy. So in the opening remarks, the gentleman did tell us that we are lowest in our digital empowerment. So with all of that information, who is getting that information? Who is being asked not to get that information? So they are at loggerheads, and that's what we have to overcome.
And I guess, of course, it depends on how women are being depicted. So looking at the process of history itself, she's right. If you're seeing positive role models, then everyone else starts to say, here are positive role models we're seeing, we should try and emulate them, and that's the lesson to take. But a lot of the lessons that we are seeing, including on television, including on the global stage, are not necessarily positive role models or examples that make you feel that women are always going to be respected.
Well, there are not enough of them. If we had as many women as men, you'd see the balance. We'd have positive role models. I think what is, today I was walking into this room thinking, wow, this is going to be great. Women's energy, this is about women's issues and how we're going to move forward. And I have to say that one of the things that shocked me was that women will today, and so far we've only had men introducing us. Men talking to us.
I thought about the same thing.
And I was just wondering, what is going on?
Yeah.
So, with all due respect, it's just every step that you take, you need to go back to the root. You need to go back to basics. And what is it that you want to project? As women, when we are poor and we have nothing, we come together. As we become much more successful and we crawl up this ladder or claw up this ladder, then we become a little bit like the men because it's a struggle to keep the space that you got. And I think, as we do that, then comes out these women that, before I got there, I think, how many women do you say, I want to be like you when I grow up? And to be honest, in the elections that just took place, if we really asked ourselves those questions, if there were 3, 4 other women up there, how many people would have voted for the woman we all thought should have been president? And so I think that, just go back to it. My religion teaches me, and I'm a Muslim, teaches me that a woman should be valued, should be put on a pedestal, but who practices that? Who practices putting her on the pedestal and giving her an education, because Islam is about seeking the light? Who does that? The men certainly don't encourage it, and I think that sometimes in times when you don't have is a struggle for power. But who underscores that? Who keeps that going? It's women. And so I think in many cases we have to step back a bit and stop being told what to do and who we are and what we are. We know. And I think what we do is empower ourselves to get up there. And education's not just about the certificate. It's about that whole life journey and having the confidence to say that with or without it, I will succeed. I don't have a PhD. I don't even have a first degree. And I struggled for years with the fact that I was not educated. But look where I am today. And I think that that's about being one of those 5 girls and determined that we were added value to my family, to my community, to my country, to Africa now, and I hope to the world, because I took part in shaping the Sustainable Development Goals, and there are billions of people trying to achieve them. So I think it's just go back to basics and get the strengths from those around you who want to make you succeed, and then we will see it. The stereotypes are the stereotypes that are written into scripts, and they're mostly written into scripts by men. And I think we need to see more women, really applauding who and what we are and taking the lead today.
Right, and if you look at how, when you're opening up a world of opportunities, the importance of positive role models.
Paradox we live in,
Yeah.
that we have. I mean, South Asia, not just India, if you see South Asia, there have been head of states who have been women.
Yeah.
Does that mean that there is greater women parity than many other countries that haven't? So, at the bottom level, we really haven't. It's not only about, it's like saying, okay, that's unattainable. It's at every level that we have to see. And I think the fact that maybe it's all around the world, that women, when it's a women's issue, women have to take it up. If it's an issue of disability, the disabilities have to take it up. If it's an issue of HIV positive people, then they have to. If it's an LGBT, we do not think that it is our issue. And I think women is half the world. I mean, it's not some smaller community, which also, I mean, even a minority issue has to be taken up by the majority, and otherwise you're going to have complete chaos like we have in our country at the moment. So I think it's very important that men and women think of it as their issue, as we think of it as a societal issue, so that it's not just the women, and largely the women are voiceless. We saw these amazing 4 stories, but there are hundreds of such stories that I'm sure all of us have been privy to or that we know of. They don't really come. So I think there's a greater pressure on all of us who are sitting here, who are far more privileged, who have different platforms to speak about, push the envelope for these women and make it a larger issue for men and women. So yeah, these are very tough questions, and we're always looking for shorter,
Well, I'm going to
simpler
give you some more
solutions.
tough questions, because as we wrap up, I see we're out of time, but I'm going to quickly take 3 questions that have come in from social media, and let's see which of you wants to answer them very quickly. So, the Fat Boho has asked this question: does change begin from the youth or from the elders? Which of you wants to take that? From the youth or from the elders?
I think it begins from the both. I mean, to ask these questions, is it this or is it that? It's not possible. Is it a man or is it a woman? It's both. So I think that they both have a role at different parts.
I'm not the person. I don't think it's an emasculating thought at all. So I'm not the right person to ask this.
No, I think, like going back to the election that you were mentioning, weren't we all shocked that somebody who was so misogynistic could actually come to power? Why did it shock us? Were we in a kind of a bubble, believing that, this is given?
You're shocked that 60 million people voted for somebody who thought that sexual assault is okay?
Exactly. You were not?
Okay, fine. Maybe I
No, but the fact
should
is
be more
that
politically correct.
But
Right.
it was something that's a given, right? We have at least come to a place where we have said gender equality is a good thing. I don't think there's an intellectual debate about it, that misogyny is not acceptable. And yet it has come out in the open that in a way it is acceptable. People are literally grabbing women on the streets. I've heard such horrendous things which has legitimized it. So it's really a soul-searching thing, and maybe in the feminist movement as well, we have failed somewhere in only focusing on women. So women are questioning, women are being more vocal, they're pushing the boundaries, and men are still there and still feeling threatened and saying, okay, things are changing too rapidly, is it good for me, is it not good for me? We've made it into a man versus woman thing, whereas
And there
it's
was a
not at
backlash.
all.
Well, I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. And maybe that's what happened in that particular election and elsewhere. So lessons
Let's not
to
do
take.
it here at least. I mean, lessons to be learned.
Yeah, lessons to be learned. All right, thank you all so much for having joined us and shared those perspectives. Thank you. Thank you all.
Ma'am, yeah, ma'am, you're saying something.
फ्रीडा, सबसे पहले इस ग्लोबल इनिशिएटिव के बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे जो गूगल ने और ग्लोबल सिटीजन
India. Very happy that Global Citizen sent. Okay. अच्छा यहाँ पर this way. Okay. Very happy that Global Citizen India has finally happened. It's been a dream for almost like 2 years now, since I first met Hugh Evans of Global Citizen, the international team. So I'm really glad that it's finally happening. I think the main purpose is to make sure that the people of India are aware of what we are up against in terms of the obstacles and how we can actually overcome it. It's great for corporate India to come in and actually finally show a commitment, but this time your commitment is accountable because you're making this announcement in front of 80,000 people at the concert, but then we're also going live on television, so that way everybody across the nation will actually see your commitment and will hold you accountable. So that's really, really good. So I think it's really important for things like this to actually happen on scale.
क्या चेंजेस देखती हैं आप जब अपने आप को देखती हैं कि पहले की जो फीमेल्स हुआ करती थी, लेडीज हुआ करती थी, और आज की जो है
बहुत चेंजेस आए हैं, बहुत चेंजेस आए हैं. Just look at corporate India itself. That itself has changed the whole face of how women are now in the positions of CEO, COO, MDs, and I think that has changed in a big way. लेकिन बहुत सारी changes अभी होने को हैं क्योंकि there is a lot on the ground level, at the grassroots level, that still have to be focused on and pushed forward. Education is key. जब तक हर लड़की इस देश में स्कूल नहीं जाएंगे, there will be no change, you know. So I feel like you have to make sure that every little girl from the age of 3 actually, or 3 or 4, whatever it is that is the primary school, ends up being in school and getting a quality education. एक चीज़ तो है तो education मिलना ही है, दूसरी चीज़ जो है वो quality education है. Quality education के बिना, you know, you'll get an education but it won't give you what do you say, you know, टेबल के जो पैर है जब weak हो जाते हैं ना, वैसे नहीं करवाना है. You have to give them strong foundation, strong feet in order to take their dreams forward.
आपने पर्सनली कोई
One second. Let her ask you last one question. 1 second.
कितनी डिफिकल्टीज हुई पूरे इनिशिएटिव जब आपने लिया, और अब तक कितना आपने पाया कि बहुत कामयाब रहा, कितना आप अपने आप को कितना
जो कॉर्पोरेट लेवल या फाइनेंसिंग या फंडिंग लेवल की डिफ़िकल्टीज़ है वो इसके बारे में मुझे मत पूछिए प्लीज़, क्योंकि मैं ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व नहीं थी उसमें. लेकिन डिफ़िकल्टीज़ बिल्कुल रहे हैं क्योंकि you know we are doing this for the first time on such a big scale in India. You know, it's not easy having Coldplay, Jay-Z, Demi Lovato, A.R. Rahman, all these Bollywood actors, Mr. Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, all on one stage. So you can imagine security level has also had to be upped, you know. So there's little the cogs in the wheel that actually make the wheel move has been a process, but a very happy one, you know, just to see it actually happen after dreaming it 2 years ago. It actually
everyone is told everyone is told कि Priyanka Chopra is the first Indian Hollywood superstar. Are you believing that?
No.
Frida, you believe that?
Let's go.
Frida, you have preferred to work in international projects. So what do you think? I mean, working in a Hindi film project is.
Hello. No.
Okay, Frida, आपने कितना फीमेल्स को जिस तरह से आप बता रही हो कि एजुकेट करना बहुत जरूरी है, आपने कभी कोई एफर्ट लिया है उसके बारे में?
Absolutely. In fact, उसके benefits भी देखे हैं हमने. You know, I think sometimes they say, you know, charity starts at home, and I hate the word charity. ये word charity मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है क्योंकि any time you use the word charity, आप सोचते कि आप you're higher than the other. I think it's responsibility, which is a much better word than charity. क्या? Oh, okay. I'm confused. So I think it's when you say it starts at home, I have my own house help who's been with me for many, many years, and I see her daughter is actually now an editor for Marathi films, and the only way she would get there is if she had the basic education, you know, in filmmaking. Her mother sent her to school. लेकिन उसको एक स्टेप आगे जाने के लिए you need educational fees in order to send her to a film school, and my family supported her, and she's now an editor for Marathi films, and that makes me very happy. You know, she wants to do something that is different, and kudos to her mother to let her do something like that. आप वैसे भी आपको पता है कि film industry it's fickle. When you're going to get your next paycheck, even you don't know, right? So it's important for mother.
Last question. एक सेकंड यार, जिस तरह से सरकार ने फैसला लिया 500 और 1000 के नोट्स को डीमोनेटाइज करने का, क्या कहेंगी आप? कुछ पर्सनली आपने इफेक्ट
बॉलीवुड प्रोजेक्ट की कुछ तैयारी कर रही हैं, काफी लोग आपका वेट कर रहे हैं. Sorry. हिंदी मूवीज के लिए कोई शाहरुख सलमान या किसी
okay, let's just, you know, now that I have all these cameras and mics in my face, let me just try to put an end to this. I don't think there's ever an end to this, right? Okay. मुझे हिंदी फिल्म्स में काम Huh? Oh God. She asked me the question, so I'm looking at her obviously. Okay, I have no problems working in Hindi language films. In fact, I have worked in Hindi language films to the extent that I've done a half Marwadi film as well, and I couldn't even speak Marwadi. But for Krishna, I had to learn how to speak Marwadi. Dhyan Rakjo. You know, I had to learn all these things. But the thing is, it's not about who is in the film. It's the story for me. So I actually have a fantastic film coming out next year by first-time filmmaker Tabriz Noorani, who is Indian passport, Indian. Okay, he was the one of the producers of Slumdog Millionaire, and he's done this fantastic film called Love Sonia, and Anupam Kherji is in it, Adil Hussain is in it, this fantastic Mrinal Thakur, this this young television actress is in it. So in my opinion, I am doing Hindi language films, और मैं हिंदी में बात करती हूँ, and I play a fantastic dancer. I won't tell you more. वुमन के साथ इंटरेक्ट
यहाँ पर जो आप इंटरेक्ट कर रही थी उनके साथ कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा यहाँ आने का?
Oh no, I was on a panel with another woman, so I did not really interact.
No, he had a lot of women.
I'm interacting with women, na? They're fantastic.
और like personally कुछ effect हुआ है क्या आपको जिस तरह से?
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.